Thank you, Ms. Chairperson, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting us to this great competition. But hopefully there will be no question at question session. Actually, we are kind of nervous because they did a really great job. But anyway, we are giving you a great plan of Japanese night sightseeing. So let's get started. Visit some temples, eating Japanese food, trying Japanese traditional culture like sado or kado, and seeing Japanese new culture or Japanese cool culture like anime or game. These are what you do in Japan. And then after you going back to your country, you'd have a conversation like this. And your friend asks you, how was Japan? Maybe you say, yeah, it was much fun. We did a lot of things which were really different from our culture. And then finally you say, I could feel Japanese culture and people directly. And it was a great time. But your friend reacts like, okay, it's cool, it's good for you. By the way, are you free tonight? Maybe you will be invited to the party or something. And that's it. How boring is it? Even though you spend much time and money to come to Japan, but you just talk about your travel over Japan just a minute. It's wasting, isn't it? But we can change it. We say there is no other people who can change it except for us. So let's see what will happen after you did our plan. It's the same. Your friend asks you, how was Japan? And you say, it was much fun, I did a lot of things. But finally, you can say, I was Japanese. So then your friend like, what the? You're keen, right? Tell me more detail. This conversation will not stop. So what's the difference of the first one and the second one? In the first conversation, you said, I felt Japanese. In the second conversation, you said, I was Japanese. So here's the question. Which is more interesting or fascinating? Of course, it is, I was Japanese. I know it sounds really weird, but it's still really interesting, isn't it? So today we can let you say, I was Japanese. And then we can do it in the most beautiful way. So here's one more question. What is the most beautiful moment? We think that you tell your love to your lover, like this picture. And in English, you will use, I love you. Yes, I love you. It is a really common phrase to tell your love. But I love you. How about Japanese people? I mean, do we Japanese people use I love you? I don't think so. So there is one story. Sosuke Natsume, who was a teacher of school, and he was really familiar with English and Japanese. And one day, he asked to his students, how do we say I love you in Japanese? One student answered, it is ware nanjo ice, which is just translated into Japanese. But he said no. And the answer is, the moon is beautiful. Does it make sense? Maybe no. Maybe it doesn't make sense for foreigners. But actually, it does make sense for us, Japanese people, only for us. And it supposes one thing. About 1,000 years ago, there were one men and women. They loved each other. And they weren't get married. But it cannot be allowed. Because most of the marriage was decided by their parents. And there is no loving marriage. So if they want to meet each other, they have to meet with hiding from other people. So they went out at deeply night. There was nothing but them and the moon. Actually, they cannot talk because they are really shy, like Japanese people are. But finally, he opened his mouth and quietly he said, "That moon is beautiful." It's romantic, isn't it? But actually, this story tells us about how Japanese people are. Of course, as I said, Japanese people are really shy. And the Japanese people love the nature itself and the moon. Actually, but it cannot be said in this era. I mean, Japanese people have been changing. But the point is that we can understand that. And we still have our same spirit with them. So today, using this story, we lead you to see wonderful and completely new plan. And it has a concept. And it is be Japanese. So just from now on, please follow our great presentators. And firstly, Ms.Gela, please.
Thank you, Mr.Kan, and my name is Ms.Gela. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm going to talk about the plan which we would like to suggest for you guys. Our plan is to see the moon at Mitake Mountain, Mount Mitake, which is located in Tokyo, and be Old Japanese. First, you are going to gather at Shinjuku Station. Sorry. Sorry. I'm so sorry. First, you are going to gather at Shinjuku Station and go to Sake Brewery by bus. Oh, sorry. First, why did we choose this place? Because Tokyo is one of the most famous sightseeing places in Japan. Most of you, if you come to Japan for the first time, most of you go to Tokyo first, right? Let me think about it. And I have a question for you guys. How many people have you ever been to Tokyo? Can you raise your hand? Are you sure? That's not a lot of people. But as a foreigner, it's most popular sight places. So in Japan, you guys can experience like new types of technologies because Tokyo is the biggest cities in Japan. But you can do same thing in other. You can do same thing in other developed countries because recently globalization is being carried out. So it is not good for us. This is not our purpose for today. We want you to travel the time and be old Japanese. The difference between city and rural is bigger. You can experience new types and old types of Japan more clearly, right? So which is Tokyo? So when you, I want you to know about Japanese culture and history. So before you go to the Sake Brewery, we want to know about Japanese culture and history. So we experienced about them. Like as we said before, the story about Natsume Soseki. It was quite interesting, right? And other literature like Shinkokin Wakashu There are more than 300 tankers which are related to the moon. Tanker is like a Japanese traditional poem of 31 syllable. Only 31 syllable. And most of them are related to the love. By the way, were you guys elementary school student or like a kindergarten student? Have you ever heard the story about the rabbit? Rabbit making rice cake together in the moon. I know, I know, most of people do not believe this. Yeah, actually, it's not true. So, where does the story come from? Actually, the rabbit is come from Indian history, so we omit today. What I want to say is that about the moon. If we say full moon in all the Japanese, it's going to be mochizuki. And making rice cake is mochizuki. It's like similar, right? So that is why people, all the Japanese people, think they're rabbit who are making rice cake together. This story is quite different from each country. So those are the example for other countries. Like it's like guard and clap, and alligator is like it looks like a lion. It's interesting, right? And so if you're back to your country, you need to check your own one and see at the moon again. I think you might be changed your feeling just a little bit, like all the Japanese. I'm sorry. So we hope you are interested in before you go to the Ozawa Gurui. Then we just liked Ozawa Gurui. So from now, I'll hand over to Mr. Shunki. He will talk about the plan after you guys arrived at the Ozawa Gurui. Please, thank you.
Thank you, Ms.Gela, and hello, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let me start. Okay, people who like alcohol hear once about Japanese sake. However, do you know how we drink it and what kind of role does it have? The theme of this struggle is to be Japanese. So we want you to learn these things at Ozawa Brewery. This is one of the most famous breweries in Tokyo. And surprisingly, it started at 1702 Edo period. Let me tell the history of Japanese sake. It is said that sake started to be made with rice since Yayoi period when the rice making was transmitted. And until Heian period, sake was a special thing to be said, sake of the god and sake of the emperor. After the period, sake had the same economic value as rice, and it was made in various parts of Japan. There are so many seasonal sake in Japan. For example, in spring, hanami shinshu. In summer, umeshu. In autumn, hiya oroshi. In winter, haru no yuki. We Japanese only have an expression, oshaku. This means the woman pours the sake to the man. Why does it do this? Since long ago in Japan, there was a culture that the woman let the man take priority. So Oshaku, one of the example of that. After the Ozawa Brewery, we will go to top of Mount Mitake. The altitude is 1929 meters. It takes about 4 hours on foot. Can you walk to the top? Of course, no. That's okay. We have a cable car. It takes about 20 minutes to the top. At the top of the mountain, we have a cable car. At the top of the mountain, there is a sake chosen by you at brewery. And then you will drink special sake with you. You will drink special sake, looking at beautiful scenery and beautiful moon with your special person. Please pour to the man only today. You can be a real Japanese. After getting off the mountain, we will go. There are lots of traditional Japanese style room in this area. You can also enjoy the hot spring and Japanese food. Depending on the location, this is a room where you can feel the greenery of the trees and bubbling of the stream. How about staying in Tokyo with us? Let's be real Japanese with us. Thank you for listening.